As we continue through this Seahawks offseason, Brock, and really the big first order of business for them will be what to do with Matt Flynn. And I think we both believe they're going to trade him. The question is, what is that market? Danny O'Neill writing today that he thinks it's roughly equivalent to that of Charlie Whitehurst a few years ago, which worked out roughly to a third-round pick. I know there were some other machinations in there. But another thing thrown out yesterday by John Clayton was the idea of dealing him to Jacksonville, which is going to be a popular idea because of Gus Bradley now being there, and receiving, rather than a pick, swapping second-round picks. You'd essentially move from the 25th pick in the second round up to the second pick in the second round. Is that a jump that would be worth it to you in order to make this deal?
That becomes very enticing, Mike. Yeah, I think it does, because now, remember, what you will have is the mid-20s pick with your first rounder, and then right there at 33, and you combine those two, and this is all about flexibility. We're going to have this talk all off season long and what they do in free agency, not just a quarterback, at linebacker, at receiver, at pass rusher. I mean, there's going to be some dominoes that are going to fall here, and depending on what happens in free agency will obviously be before the draft, and this trade you would like to happen before the draft. So can you address defensive end? Can you get a Kruger? Can you get an impact guy there? And if so, do you have to make that move? Maybe you don't, but the flexibility to me is critical here. And the flexibility of having a mid-20s with the possibility of a 33 to package that up and move, or to continue to use those to trade down and assemble more picks. But that starts to smell about right to me as far as value.
I guess the reason that I hesitate on it, Brock, and unless you're doing what you just said, trading back then out of that spot in order to add more picks, the goal for me is to add as many second to fifth round picks as possible for John Schneider to work with. And what they have in the first round is a later first round pick. I don't see them moving up. I just don't. I think the goal for them needs to be to add as many picks in those second to third and maybe fourth, fifth rounds as possible. And if this helps them do that, fine. I would rather see them trade Matt Flynn for more picks as opposed to just to move up in the second round.
All becomes about the valuation. I mean, all of this conversation is always about the business plan. It's always about this prospect, that prospect, the pro personnel side, the college personnel side, how that enormous big board all comes together, and what this group has done so well, Mike, not just about the here and now, but building this thing moving forward.